Welcome back. You guys already know what time it is. It's the NSIC Stock Watch with David Brown. Just 1 week to go in the regular season.
Just one more week.
Oh my gosh. But we have to check in on how you did last week.
Do we have to?
Yeah, David, it's like 3 weeks now.
I know. This is bad.
That's okay. It's going to be a postseason push anyways, but it could have gone better. Could have gone a little bit better, we'll say that. You said bye Augustana. They lost 34-20 at home to Winona State, but they're a good team, okay? You sold MSU Moorhead. They won the Axe Traveling Trophy with a 31-26 win over Bemidji State. I love the traveling trophies in the NSIC. You said to hold on the Beavers, and of course, they lost to the Dragons. So, David, with all of that said, it's okay.
It's okay.
Who are you buying?
I'm going to go the easy route this week. I'm going to go the really easy route, and I'm going to buy on the University of Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. Yeah, it's a very easy pick to buy them at 10-0 because they just dispatched a 55-0 victory over UMary. But nonetheless, they took care of business and showed how focused they really are. It took them a while to get going, actually. This was a scoreless game after the first, but the final 45 minutes, just pure domination by the Bulldogs. 31 first downs to just 4 for UMary, 329 rushing yards, to minus 14 rushing yards, 625 total yards of offense, just 59 total yards allowed. Marauders are obviously going to see better days, but Minnesota Duluth showed they will be a factor in the playoffs. That wasn't necessarily a trap game, but it was still a game where they had to treat it like a business trip. Yeah, they were at home, but they took care of business. It's all said and done. You move on to the next week. They did what they needed to do, and they did not let anything get in their way. So buying on the Bulldogs, yes, it's an easy buy, but they showed how dangerous they can truly be.
Smart with your money.
Exactly.
Monopoly
Got to be
money.
smarter this week, at least.
Oh my gosh. All right, so buying the Bulldogs, who are you selling?
I'm going to finally sell on Bemidji State. And yeah, it's probably a little bit too late for Bemidji State. I said to hold on them last week because I thought they still had a chance in their Mineral Water Bowl by beating MSU Moorhead and Minot State at home. That would probably secure a spot, but that will not be the case. They'll probably beat Minot State next week to finish 7-4, but this was an opportunity BSU just squandered. They had their ups and downs this season, losing to good teams like Minnesota State, Minnesota Duluth. The Dragons are better this season, but as the road team in this long-running rivalry with the Traveling Axe Trophy, they look like the hungrier team on Saturday. Dragons can still get a Mineral Water Bowl spot themselves, but not the Beavers. And even though MSU Moorhead led for most of this ball game, Bemidji State didn't really show much of a fight until late in the fourth quarter. Just disappointing for me from a Bemidji State perspective, because this was an opportunity. You have your final 2 games at home against opponents who aren't necessarily the most consistent, and the fact that they lost this game means they won't get a Mineral Water Bowl opportunity. So I want to see what they look like next season when they have a healthy quarterback in Brandon Alt, but for now, sell on Bemidji State again. Probably a week too late, though.
Gosh darn it.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Well, finally, who are you holding?
Well, I'm going to hold on Augustana, and I think the reason I'm going to hold on Augustana is because even though they lost to Winona State this past weekend and they won't get a chance at the Mineral Water Bowl, they can go undefeated on the road this season with a win at Southwest Minnesota State Saturday. It was a tough loss against the Warriors this weekend, but I think the way they've been playing away from Kirkby Over Stadium is something to be lauded. I've mentioned it in previous weeks. Regardless of the caliber of opponent, winning on the road is just tough, but there's been a marked improvement by the Vikings this season. They're going to finish above 500, at least 2 games better. I think they have an opportunity to win on Saturday in Marshall, take something away from the season that's pretty positive. An undefeated road mark going 6-0 at home. That's something head coach Jerry Olszewski can take into 2019. We'll hear from him a little bit later with Elena Lansing, but I think the Vikings are a good hold for right now because I think they can finish strong and have a lot of momentum going into 2019.
Yeah, I was impressed with Augie this year. I thought, overall, for where they came from after they had the graduation of some top players.
And they had a ton of injuries last season,
Yeah.
going 4-7. So this was definitely a bounce back year, regardless of how it finishes.
Yeah, good job to them. All right, the latest Super Region 4 rankings came out, so let's take a look at those. And there were no changes in the top 10 overall. The only thing that looks different are the records. Minnesota State and Minnesota Duluth are first and third, respectively, with 10-0 records. Charlton State stays at number 2. But David, what's your reaction to these rankings heading into the final week of the regular season?
No real surprise. Again, like you said, no changes in the top 10. And obviously, with no changes in the top 10, you're going to see that strength of schedule play a big factor coming down the stretch. Again, Minnesota Duluth, they're kind of punished through no fault of their their own because they took on a winless UMary team on Saturday. They took care of business, like I said, but obviously 0-10, that's going to hurt that strength of schedule. Both the Mavericks and Bulldogs are going to be in the playoffs. There's no concern about that, but they both have home games this weekend. Mavericks are going to host Upper Iowa. Minnesota Duluth is going to host Northern State. I expect both those teams to win those games, finish 11-0. It's going to be difficult to see until we see how those other non-conference teams play out, what that strength of schedule factor is going to be. But as long as both teams take care of business, they should, at the very minimum, remain at 1-3, maybe even sneak into the 1-2 spots.